At this point, your site should be up and running. You should have provided us with your Amazon affiliate ID and your secret keys. You should have some products and their categories in your store. You should have watched the videos, basics 1 through 5, and you should be in the process of adding new products. So the next step is to begin to drive customers to your site. Now, one of the ways we do this is called search engine optimization, and you may have seen it referred to as SEO. When people need to find a product or information on a particular topic, most of the time they do a search in a search engine like Google or Bing, and there are often millions of results that come up from that search. But here's the one important thing. Psychologically, people only look through the first few pages of the search result before they type in any alternative search criteria. So the goal of SEO is to try and get your site or your product page to show up in a search as early as possible. The higher the rankings, the more people see it. And the more people see it, the more people will click on it and come to your site. Now, what's even more important is that the more people come to your site, the higher the rankings, because search engines like, more than anything, that people go to your site. And maybe they'll take your articles and repost them, like to places like Facebook or Twitter. Search engines really like that too. So if you have good search engine optimization, you're taking advantage of different ideas or different tactics to try to get your site farther up in Google, and then in turn, that will give you more traffic. So slowly, day after day and month after month of doing this, if you work on your SEO strategies, you'll get higher and higher. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it's something that you will do consistently, and we'll be teaching you about these things. Now, there are many, many different pieces of SEO. Some are better than others, some are easier than others, but they can be done in any mix at any varying levels of complexity. Realistically, without a team of people, you could never do them all. And even teams probably couldn't do them all. So we'll be going over the most important ones and the most user-friendly ones throughout the lessons. Now, your access to these tutorials will depend on your membership level, but there are some basic tactics that everyone will have as part of their SEO strategy. And one of the most important is using the right keywords. Keywords are the words or phrases that people use to search on your topic. So if you type into Google, best dog food, then the keyword phrase is best dog food. Now, if you want to target that phrase on your website so that people go to your site if they type in best dog food, then you want to put that phrase into your site. Customers and people that go to your site may not even see the phrase, because that phrase can be attached to all sorts of things that they can't see. Like, it could be the name of the picture, or it can be an alternate page title that is not being used. So, using the right keywords, putting them in the right places, will get your site recognized by the search engine and slowly help you move up in the rankings. Now, it's important to understand that this is just going to be a basic intro on this topic. There are many more ways to approach this. There are many advanced ways to approach this. But there are no hard and fast rules. There's nothing you can point to that says this is the perfect way to do it. There are so many variables that affect these things. So I'm going to show you a basic approach to keywords that is easy to understand, something that you can do, and as you play with it and understand it more and more, you should then take a look at some of the more advanced guides to keywords in our resource library to help you get better at it. Now, there'll always be more to learn, and you can go as far as you want. But hopefully this tutorial and others like this will give you the foundation so that you can do more advanced things if you want to do them. Okay, so let's talk about the actual terms. Let's think about it logically. If you put in a term that's really popular, it probably has a lot of pages, maybe hundreds of millions or billions. Now that's a lot of pages to get ahead of. And because those terms are popular, there are probably a lot of big companies that have products dealing with those terms, like dog food. They also probably have big teams of marketing people and data entry people that are working on their search engine optimization. And they probably have a lot more money than you do to make this all happen. You can imagine that it would be hard for you to go against them and beat them in these popular search terms. So we want to get around that. The way we get around this is to find a niche. The first part you've already done. That is, you picked a smaller, more specific topic that you can become an expert on. The popular topics tend to be bigger and more general, right? So dog food is really broad. There are so many places that sell it. It's a billion-dollar industry with huge companies putting their weight behind it. But let's say dog collars is a much smaller topic. And even though the big boys may sell the collars, they're probably not spending nearly as much money or time in targeting that because the market is much smaller. But that's small for them. For you, it could be very lucrative. So this is where we can sneak in. So our strategy then is to find keywords related to dog collars that don't have much competition, meaning that there aren't a lot of other people targeting that particular topic. But we also want to make sure that term doesn't show up on so many pages that it's hard to climb. Understand that the number of pages is a relative term in the internet. It could still be 1 million or more pages, but that's not a lot in internet terms compared to billions of pages. Dog collars may not have a lot of targeted competition, but it may have too many pages because so many places sell dog collars. But if we make the term a little more specific, like dog collar reviews or dog collar experts, well, then we may find a better result. But at the same time, there needs to be enough people searching on the term so there are enough people that can ultimately come to your site. So if you chose a term that didn't have a lot of competition, but it actually didn't have any searches, then that doesn't do you any good. This is a slow building process, so you don't really need thousands of people searching for that term. And we'll also have other ways of driving traffic besides keywords, but it's really a balancing act. A few hundred people searching a month on a topic with only 100,000 pages and with a medium level of competition might be better for a small new site than thousands of people searching for that topic with low competition, but yet there's still tens of millions of pages. And again, there are no hard or fast rules. You give it a try, and over time you see how it goes. You can always make changes, and you'll be targeting more than one particular search term, so if one doesn't work, then maybe others will. And as you get more users, you may not want only hundreds of searches. You may want to find searches with thousands, but you already have a higher ranking, so you can handle more competition. So a few months down the road, you may want to revisit the keywords and make changes and choose new keywords. So it can be an ongoing process, but it's not necessarily a daily process. Okay, one more point. How does a search engine like Google even know about keywords? How does it know what is a keyword? Okay, so what happens is this. The search engines have a virtual robot that they send out to look around the internet. They go to all these different sites and they look at a bunch of criteria, like, have you submitted your site to our search engine so we know it exists? How many times do people repost stuff from your site onto their site? How many times does your site get visited? Other things we're going to do later, like getting Facebook pages and Twitter accounts if you don't already have them. And these will all help the robot know that you exist and help rank you. The robots then actually go into your site and look for keywords. And the reason they can find them is because we put them in places that they know to look. Then the robots prioritize all the words on your site, and they look at all of the keywords and all of these other criteria, Then the robots prioritize all the words and the keyword terms by their importance, which is usually decided by where they are located on your site. So words in a title become more important than words in an article. Then they add your site and the keywords to their giant map of the internet and all of the search terms and figure out where you rank if someone searches on that term. So the robot is constantly going out and updating. And so that's how you can get higher and higher on Google. Now you might say, well, why don't I just take that important phrase, that keyword phrase that we like, and just put it hundreds of times on pages so that it shows up a lot? Well, here's the thing. These robots are really smart. If you try to trick them, they'll put you in a penalty box and lower your rankings. Or they may not give you any weight at all, so that makes the post useless. Now this is what happens when we add Amazon products. We get no credit for those products by the robot because we're just copying what's already on Amazon. And it knows that, and it says Amazon is the owner of this content, so we're not going to pay attention to the content that's on this site. That would make it harder, obviously, for you to get higher in the rankings. So we need to get around that. And the way we do that is for each of our products, we write reviews. And in those reviews, we have things like the name of the product again, and the keywords that we've been talking about, and keywords maybe that are specific to that product. And we put them all in a proper way so that the robots pay attention and differentiate our product from the Amazon product. So let's put this all together. We want to find terms that people are actually using to search, but we don't want so many search terms that we have a big uphill battle. And we don't want the terms to be targeted by so many other sites that the competition for those keywords are too high. We also want a relatively small amount of page results so that we don't have too many pages to jump ahead of. Then we want to take that term and any others that we find useful and use them on our site in a way that the robots like. So how do we figure out what search terms to use? Well, luckily, Google has helped us by providing a keyword tool. We'll explore the details of how to use the Google keyword tool in the next video lesson. But remember, there are also some excellent resources on keyword search and SEO in the resource library on the E-commerce Maestro website. They are there for you to expand your understanding. Certainly, if anything confuses you, call or email your webmaster and ask any questions you like. It's important that you have a good understanding of this before you actually start using the tool. Okay, that's all for now. And from us at E-commerce Maestro, thanks. And remember, practice makes perfect.